Hello, welcome to your Yogilates class today. We are going to start standing a little bit wide. Give those shoulders a few little rolls. You can rock your neck side to side to stretch out through your neck. You can close down through those eyes. Now today's class is a Yoga Pilates fusion. More yoga though, a little bit of strengthening, but mostly stretching and releasing those muscles. Alright, let's get started with a lateral bend. So stepping those feet wide, we reach one arm overhead, look up to the sky, slide the other hand down the thigh. And then we go to the other side, reach up and over, lengthen through the side waist. Come back through center, exhale up and over. Couple more here, stretching through those obliques and through the lats. One more, each side. We're going to come to a standing roll down. I love these. They feel really good on the spine. So we're going to stay standing wide. Inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale, arch your back, stick your booty out. Lead with your heart and your chest. Fold forward and then restack the spine like your traditional Pilates roll up. Bend the knees softly as we inhale, reach arms up. Bend the knees again as we dive the heart forward and then curl the spine up. Should feel really nice on the spine. Bend the knees, lift the arms up. Bend the knees, dive forward, and then round up through the spine, restacking one vertebrae at a time. One more like this. Dive forward, stick the booty out, and curl up. We're going to hold the last one down. Inhale up, and exhale. Lead with the chest, fold forward. Take a little time here to hang. I'm going to show you what this looks like front on. We step those feet nice and wide and turn our big toes in a little, coming into a hip inner thigh stretch. Now you can rock your upper body side to side here. You can grab onto your toes. You can take your hand into the opposite elbow. You can reach your arms forward and place them on the ground. Breathe here. There's no right or wrong as long as you're getting a stretch through those hips and inner thighs. Now just notice how this feels because we are going to do this again after we have stretched out a bit, and it is going to feel a bit looser next time we do it. Taking a few more big breaths here, really hanging heavy through that upper body, lengthening the lower back. Grabbing onto those feet if that feels good, or walking your hands behind you onto the opposite side of the mat. Have a little play here. We're going to take our right hand down, reach our left arm up to the sky, open through the chest, and look up. Breathe here. Opening through that back of that shoulder. Bring that hand down. Have a little fold forward again. Couple breaths here before we do the other side. And place the left hand down, reach the right arm up, twist, open, and look up. Just notice the differences you feel between both sides. One might feel tighter or looser. That's okay. We've all got a stronger side and a less flexible side. Have another little fold here. We're going to start to rock side to side. So we're going to get some warmth in those legs. So we bend the left knee. And then we bend the right knee. So sliding our hips side to side. Now you can keep your foot on the floor of that leg that is straight, or you can go like I am and lift the bottom of your foot up. Hands stay on the floor in front of us and we rock side to side. Inhale, rock. Exhale, pause, and then come back through center, other side. Let's hold here on this one side. Breathe. Stretching out through those hips. And then change sides, hold on the opposite side. Breathe. And let's do one more on each side, change sides. Drop those shoulders down, press into that front heel. Breathe. And then go to the other side, couple breaths here. And then we're going to start to move a little bit faster again. We're going to take the hands off the floor, but if you need to keep your hands down here, you can do. We're going to get some warmth in those legs. So we lean to the left and then up and over to the right. Lateral lunge, hip stretch, nice and low. We go side to side, not fully extending both legs in the middle. Keep alternating side to side here. So it's best to stretch your muscles when you're a little bit warm. You can choose to lift those toes up and lift the bottom of the foot up, or you can choose to keep the foot down. Whatever feels good for you here. Few more here. Choose to hold for a little longer than I am, or go a little faster if you like. Let's go for another 10 more here before we hold on one side and come into another spinal twist. Now these spinal twists are really good. Our spine was designed to move in all different motions, different planes of movement. Unfortunately, we spend most of the day in one plane of movement, which is just slouched forward. So these twists are really good to help stretch out through the back of the shoulders and the spine. Let's hold this next one on the left. Plant that right hand down and then twist and open up to the sky. Stretching here. Breathe. And then come back through center. Go to the right. Place the left hand down. Reach that right arm to the sky. Twist and open. Notice the differences you're feeling here. We're going to go side to side one more time. Bring those hands back to chest. Let's go to the left and the right. You can choose to lift the bottom of the foot. Maybe you're going a little bit deeper now. Staying low, so try not to lift your head too high. Imagine the ceiling is just above your head here. You're trying not to touch it. Side to side. Hips should feel a little more open here. Keep breathing. Again, choose to have your hands on the floor if you prefer. Let's take one more forward fold to the middle. Now you might be able to go a little bit deeper. So I couldn't go on my elbows before, but now that my hips are a bit more open, it's comfortable to go on my elbows. You can choose to put the top of your head on the floor if you're extra bendy. Grab your ankles or just sway side to side. Turn those big toes in and stretch out through those inner thighs. And let's walk our hands over towards our right foot, rotate to the right, and come into a crescent lunge. Let's lower that left knee down onto the mat and lift the chest. Make sure right ankle is underneath right knee. That leg is 90 degrees. Now we're going to lift the back knee and come into a hamstring split stretch. So extend your right leg, flex your foot, and then bend the right knee, look up, lift the chest. Exhale, extend the leg, flex the foot. Inhale, bend. Exhale, look up. Lift the chest. Extend. Try to lengthen that leg. And then bend. Lift the chest. Alternating between hamstring stretch on the right side and hip stretch on the left side. Keep breathing here. Keep moving. Exhale, we press back. And inhale, we bend and lower. One more here. Exhale, press back, extend the right leg, hamstring stretch. Bend the right knee. Now keep that left knee lifted into your crescent lunge. Place your hands on your right thigh, square your hips, and choose to reach your arms to the sky, interlacing the fingers, or keep them on your thigh. You can extend your spine a little bit. We're going to go from standing up into a lunge. So let's inhale, reach up, extend the right leg. Exhale, we lunge, bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, crescent lunge, stretch. You can choose to go with me with the arms or take your hands on your hip. With the arms, we reach up to the sky as we lengthen. Exhale, hands to chest as we sink down. Keep those hips nice and square. There's a bit of moving mobility here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower down. Hands to heart. Hands on hips is your alternative option. Couple more here. Reach up. And bend, lower, stretch that left hip flexor. Reach up and bend and lower. Let's hold it here. You can choose to lower your left knee down if that feels better, or keep it lifted. Breathe, pressing through front heel, inner thighs activated, front knee is parallel. Take left hand down inside the right foot, open right arm to the sky, take that spine twist again. Breathe here. And we're going to go back into those hamstring extension stretches. So hands on the floor either side of the foot. You can walk your back foot a little closer if you need. Inhale, we lower to the crescent lunge. Exhale, we extend right leg hamstring stretch. Inhale, we lower. Exhale, we press back, look to the knee. Inhale, we lower, lift the chest. Exhale, we press back. Try to keep your hips nice and square, really lengthening through the back of this right hamstring. So it's going to feel really juicy on those hamstrings, maybe really tender if you're really tight, but this is super good for them. Keep breathing, couple more here. Bend, press back. Bend, lift the chest, and press back. Bend, lift the chest, and press back, hamstring stretch. We're going to go into a standing hamstring split now. So jump that left foot about halfway forward. Fold forward, look towards the knee, and try to extend the right leg. Now, to make this a little bit of an easier stretch, you can move your left foot forward or back. Make sure your feet are hip width apart to help you balance and really square through your hips. Breathe here. We're going to start to bend and extend the legs again, but take a couple more big breaths here. Really lengthening through that right hamstring, maybe a bit through the left or the left calf as well. Left heel can be up or down. Keep breathing. Relax through those shoulders. And we're going to start to bend and extend. So watch how I come into a low, like a little runner's stance. I'm about to run a marathon, but don't worry, we're not. We're just stretching. Inhale, we bend both knees. Lower the hips. Exhale, bump to the sky, press back. Inhale, we bend both knees, hips lower. Exhale, we press back. Inhale, we bend, look up. Press back, look back. Inhale, we bend. Exhale, press, lengthen right hamstring. Few more here. Inhale, we bend, and exhale, we extend. Inhale, bend. Every time you extend, see if you can stretch a little bit further and deeper. Keep drawing that left hip bone forward and right hip bone back to square the hips. Exhale, we press. Let's hold this one back. Big breaths. Hold that hamstring stretch. Keep trying to send that tailbone to the sky, crown of the head to the floor. Breathe here. And let's step that left foot forward. Give the legs a little shake out if you need. We're going to even ourselves out with our crescent lunge hamstring stretch. So right leg steps back. Lift the chest. Lower the right knee down into the mat. Hands either side of the left foot. You can be on your fingertips. Breathe here. Hamstring extension. Exhale, press back. You can choose to lift those toes up. Of that left leg. Inhale, we bend, lift the chest. Exhale, we press back, lift the toes. Inhale, we bend, lift the chest, sink the right hip. Press back, extend left leg. Sink down, lower right hip, lift the chest. Keep alternating between hamstring stretch and crescent lunge. Now, when we did this on the other side, as we extended our front leg, we extended the back leg, tucking the toes under. You can choose to do that. I'm just going to show you your kind of easier option, keeping your back knee down. Lunge, look up. Hamstring stretch, look back. Couple more. We're going to hold that crescent lunge and start to lift and lower into it. Big breaths. Sinking forward. Stay here. Tuck the right toes under. Take your hands on your left knee, lift your chest. Sink your right hip down. Try to square those hips. Choose to stay there or reach arms to the sky, and you can even arch your back a little and look up. We're going to start to lift and lower, so you can take your hands on your hips or come with me with the arms. Breathe here. Hands towards heart center as we lower. Inhale, lift, look up. Exhale, press down. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Pull that right hip forward. Exhale, lower, crescent lunge. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale, sink low. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale, sink low. Big breaths here. Really lengthening out through those hips. Eyes can focus on the same thing to help you balance. Couple more here. Lift up, sink low. Let's go for 4. Sink low. 3, lift and lengthen. Sink low. 2 more, reach up, grow taller. Sink low. 1 more, reach up, grow taller. And sink low. Hamstring extensions again. Lean forward, hands on the floor, either side of that foot. Exhale, extend that left leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, we extend. Fold forward, inhale, bend, look up. So our right knee is off the mat for this set. Exhale, press back. You can choose to lift your left toes off the mat as you press back if you like. Try to keep your hips as square as possible. It's not going to be possible to keep them entirely square if you have tight hamstrings. That's okay. But try to really draw that left hip back to get more of a hamstring stretch. A few more here. Exhale, press back. Nose towards knee. Inhale, sink, lift the chest. Exhale, press back. Inhale, sink, look up. Let's go for 2. We're going to add that twist. 1 more, press back. And bend. Right hand plants down inside left foot. Left arm reaches up to sky. Twist, open, and look up. Keep left knee bent, knee over ankle if you can. Breathe here. Shoulders down and back. Place that left hand down. Jump your right foot halfway down your mat into your staggered stance. Try to square your hips and just take a few breaths in this hamstring stretch on this left leg. Try to pull right hip forward and push left hip back. You can be on your spider fingers or palms flat. Breathe here. You can hang the head and look to the knees if that feels good. Relaxing those shoulders, relaxing the breath. Try not to fight the stretch. Try to relax into it. If it does get too painful, too much, ease off. Let's go into that bend and extend that runner's stance. So we inhale, lunge, lift the chest. Exhale, press back, lift the hips. Inhale, hips low, chest high. Exhale, chest down, hips up. Inhale, lower. And exhale, press up. Bend that back knee down. You can even tap it down to the mat. And then press back. So this active moving stretch helps to stretch the back of that hamstring a little bit more. Inhale, we bend, lift the chest. Press back, lift the tailbone. Inhale, bend, lift the chest. Press back, lift the hips. Bend, lift the chest. Press back, lift the hips. 1 more like this. We are going to hold it back. And take that hamstring stretch. Pull right hip forward, left hip back. Reach the crown of the head forward. Lengthen through the spine. Breathe here. We're going to stretch out a bit more through the hips with a bit of a yogi squat next. Couple more big breaths. And step that right foot forward. Feet are right next to each other and then walk them wide so they're the width of your mat. Fold forward. You can take your hands on the floor. You can take your hand inside opposite elbow. Breathe here and lengthen out both hamstrings now. Sending tailbone to the sky, crown of the head to the floor. Breathe. Toes are turned out slightly. Let's start to find our yogi squat. So we lower the butt, lift the chest, keep spider fingers or palms flat on the mat, and then we press back to that hamstring stretch. Lower the hips, lift the chest, open the knees wide, and then press back, hamstring stretch. Big press back, lengthen the backs of the legs. Lower the bum, lift the chest, look up, and then press back. Feel free to move your feet around or move your hands around if you need. Breathe here. Sink those hips down, pause, open knees wide, and then press back. Sink hips down, and then press up, lengthen. Sink down, lift the chest, lower that bum, press through our heels. Make sure those knees don't come too far forward over those toes. We want good alignment through the knees here to protect them. You can choose to keep your hands down or bring your hands towards a prayer position if that's a comfortable position for you. It's a bit easier with hands on the floor. Couple more, big press back, tailbone high. Squat, lift the chest, look up. Might be getting a little bit deeper in this stretch. Lower, lift the chest, pause, and we're just going to hang out here. Choose to stay on your fingertips or place your palms flat. Choose to take your hands towards prayer. You can rock side to side. That feels good for me. Breathe. Keep the chest lifted. Try to look towards the front of your mat or beyond it if you're at the front of your mat. Couple more big breaths here. Your hips should be feeling nice and open now. You can choose to take your elbows up onto the inner thighs and push them wide. That feels good as well. Breathe here. We're going into a down dog next. Take those hands down, step back to down dog. What would Yogilates be without down dog? Press your chest to your thighs, spread your fingers wide, and walk the dog, bending one knee, pressing the opposite heel down to the mat, lengthening out through the backs of those hamstrings. Your heels do not have to touch the mat. If they cannot, that is okay. Breathe here. We're going to go to a three-legged dog, a hip opener, and then a glute stretch here. Keep walking out through that dog. Press chest to thighs. Make sure those shoulders are drawing down and back. All right, let's press both heels down towards down dog. Lift that right leg up to the sky, open the hip. Bend the right knee, drop the foot, so you might be able to see your foot under your left armpit. Point the right knee to the sky, stretching through the front of the hip. We're not here for long, don't worry. Breathe. We're going to send this foot forward into a pigeon. When you're ready, send that leg forward. Try to get your shin parallel to the front of the mat. Lift your chest up, square your hips, push left hip forward, draw right hip back. Choose to stay lifted on your fingertips or your flat palms, or choose to lean forward, resting on your elbows, or resting your forehead on your hands. Really press that left hip towards right heel. Flex right heel to protect your knee. And let's reach our left tippy toes along down the mat. You can choose to stack your fists one on top of each other and then lie your forehead on them. And if you still want a little bit more, place your palms flat and then lie your forehead on your palms. Big breaths here. I'd say this is one of my favorite stretches. It's really good for the glutes, stretching out the butt. And we do a lot of glute work in Pilates. All right, prop yourself up on your hands. Now just watch me, because you can choose to stay in your pigeon. Or if you'd like to stretch through the front of your hip and your quad, you can choose to reach your left arm back, grab the inside of your left foot, bending your left knee, and stay lifted in this position. If you're super bendy here, you can hook your elbow into the inside of the knee. I get a really nice chest stretch if I do this. Remember that you can choose to stay in your pigeon instead. Try to square your shoulders forward towards the front of your mat. And keep those shoulders down, away from the ears always. Breathe here. The more you pull your heel to your bum, the deeper stretch you'll get. And release that foot, press back to down dog. Walk the dog out for a couple of seconds before we go to that three-legged dog. Lift left leg up, open the hip, point the toes, drop your left foot so maybe you can see it underneath your right armpit. Try to press your right heel down to the mat and maybe you can square through your shoulders. Let's send that left foot forward to pigeon, shin parallel to the front of the mat. Flex the foot, square the hips, lift the chest. You can arch your back, look up if that feels good. Remember that you can come down onto your elbows or make a little pillow with your fists, double stacking or just palms down. You might have one side that's a little looser than the other. Don't worry, that is totally normal. Usually it's our non-dominant side. Keep reaching the right toes long down the mat, trying to square through those hips. Breathe here. Relaxing through the shoulders, really focus on trying to melt that upper body down into the mat. Now remember, you can choose to stay here in your pigeon as we change to more of a quadricep stretch. But I'm going to come up and come into that quad stretch. So if you're joining me, you bend your right knee, reach inside your foot and grab the inside of the foot with the hand or place the inside of the elbow inside the foot. Lift the chest, try to square the shoulders and really open through the right side of the chest. The more you pull your heel to your bum, the deeper stretch you'll get. Couple more breaths here. Easier option, stay in your pigeon. That is totally fine. We do have more quadricep stretches coming up. Couple more big breaths. And when you're ready, press back to down dog. Walk the dog out. Come down into a plank. Lower your knees if you need. Bend the elbows and chaturanga down onto the mat. Pointing the toes, lifting the chest slightly, and then lowering down. Place those hands next to your chest, and then we lift up into a modified up dog and lower the chest. Draw those shoulders down. Inhale, lift, look up, and then exhale to lower. Keep pushing our hip bones down into the mat. Walk your hands further forward if that's comfier. They can come towards your shoulders or even in front of your shoulders towards the front of the mat. Keep lifting and lowering here. Arms stay slightly bent the whole time. Exhale, we press into those hands, lift and lower. Lengthening out through the spine. Maybe you start to work your elbows to straight as you press up. Keep pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Couple more here. Just go to the height that feels good for your body. It's not about being a super bendy gymnast. Exhale, press up and lower down. Let's press back to down dog, chest to thighs. We're going to do a chaturanga now. So we're going to come to our plank. Knees down is your easier option. Bend your elbows, lower the chest, then sweep the chest forward. Land on the tippy toes. Lift your chest into an up dog. Breathe here. Hold. Only go to your range that feels good. And then let's press back to a quick little child's pose. Arms long, knees wide. Stretch out through the back. We're going to finish by stretching out through the front of the thighs and a few little cat-cows. So when you're ready, come kneeling. We're going to extend our left leg and then bend the right knee. Now the right foot has to be outside the right hip. Come back onto your elbows, push your right knee down into the mat and send your right hip to the sky. Think about tucking your pelvis under and pushing your butt down to the floor. Choose to stay on your elbows or choose to lie down. I like to take a fist under my opposite butt cheek. So I've taken my left fist and I put it underneath my left hip to elevate it, and I feel a better stretch. I feel more aligned there. Choose to stay on your elbows or lie all the way down, really stretching through the front of this right thigh and a bit into that hip. Breathe here. You can close down through the eyes. Relaxing the shoulders, taking big slow breaths. And let's come up. We're going to change legs. So extend the right leg, bend the left knee. Make sure your left foot is outside your left hip. Push your left knee down into the mat, recline back on your elbows, or lie down fully. Right fist can go underneath your right butt cheek to even out through your hips. Breathe here, closing down through the eyes, opening through the front of the body. Really press left knee down towards the mat. If this doesn't feel good, come back to your elbows. And let's come up. We're going to do both legs. So we're going to come onto our hands and knees first. Bring the feet to the outsides of the hips and then sit back on the bum. Hands down, push your hips forward, squeeze your booty, lift your chest. Choose to stay here. Or choose to recline onto your elbows. Keep trying to tuck your tail under. Push your butt down. Choose to stay here. You can lean your head back if that feels good. Or you can choose to lie down all the way on the mat, depending on the flexibility in the fronts of your legs. Breathe here. Usually we are tighter in the back or the front of the legs. So don't worry if you are really tight in the front of your thighs. Chances are you are a bit looser through your hamstrings. I'm a bit tighter through my hamstrings, a bit looser through my quads. So this feels really good for me, but we are all different. So don't worry about where you are at with your stretching. As long as your muscles are getting lengthened and it feels good and not painful, then you're doing something good for your body. Couple more breaths here. And let's come up. We're going to come into a camel stretch. So this one can be a bit iffy. If it doesn't feel good, choose a child's pose instead. Now your easier option, you're going to take your hands to your low back. You're going to arch your back and lift your chest to the sky and look up slightly and stay there. If this does feel good for you and you are bendy in this direction, you can take your hands back onto your ankles or your heels. Make sure you're supporting your lower back here, not compressing it. I'm going to take my hands back to my heels for my full camel. And in your full camel, make sure you're not sinking back. You're shifting your weight forward. Imagine the wall is right in front of your pubic bone and you're trying to press your thighs and your pubic bone against the wall. Push the hips forward, open through the chest. You can hang the head back. I don't really love that, so I like to keep my head lifted. Breathe here. And carefully coming up, come down onto hands and knees. Let's finish with some nice little cat-cow sexy body rolls. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Start to cat and cow. Exhale, scoop the belly, chin to chest, arch the back, look back to knees. Inhale through center, exhale, lift the chest, lift the booty, lower through the waist. Exhale to cat, inhale through center, exhale to cow, look up. Choose to stay here. Choose to make this like a little cat-cow body roll, leaning to the left and then leaning to the right, doing a little semicircle. I think these feel really nice. You can choose to join me or stay in your cat-cow. Exhaling to curl, inhale through center. You can reverse that circle, going the other way, going to the right and then to the left. Do whatever feels good here for another 10. Couple more to go and then we are finished. Thank you for joining me for your Yogilates stretch class today. Let me know how you went and if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time in the studio.